No method destroys education more profoundly than allowing it to drag on endlessly without a clear purpose. In such cases, schools cease to be places that nurture focus and ignite a passion for learning, becoming instead prisons that confine the mind. Your life is like a program coded from your very first steps. When your soul was still open, trusting, and full of youthful curiosity, they knew it. Before you could even think independently, they stepped in, planting in your mind notions of dreams, fears, and even who you should become. Your parents, who love you most, couldn't stop it, nor did they even realize it was happening. Because they, too, are victims trapped in the same system designed to shape and control. Now, you carry the weight of programming you never asked for with a vague sense of absence, as if this life doesn't truly belong to you. Reflect on the systems operating around us. Education, media, food, and even the language you use daily. They weren't created to help you flourish. They were crafted to keep you small, compliant, and predictable. Every school bell you've ever heard, every cartoon you've watched, every phrase you've repeated. They aren't harmless. They are deliberate arrangements. A control system perfected over generations. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You don't have to keep living this way. That programming doesn't define who you are. You can break the chains, reclaim your inner strength, and write your own life story. It all starts with seeing the truth, recognizing its true nature. Some awaken at 18, others at 40, and some never wake up. But you're here, right now. That means you're ready to see that they designed you for a single purpose: compliance. They don't want you to think critically. They want you to follow their rules, buy their products, pay their taxes, and live within the narrow boundaries they've drawn. This isn't an accident or a mistake. It's a system honed over generations, conditioning you to obey without even realizing it. The greatest lie they've ever woven is convincing you that you're free. But you're not free. True freedom requires awareness, and awareness is the very thing they've systematically worked to suppress. The stories you grew up with often glorify obedience and portray rebellion as dangerous, ensuring you follow the script without a hint of doubt. Most of what you believe about success, happiness, and morality was handed to you by those who profit from your conformity. This society wasn't built to nurture your individuality. It was designed to extinguish it, to keep you predictable and controllable. Take schools, for example. On the surface, they seem free in your early years, but nothing in this system is truly free. You are their product. Schools mold your mind to fit their agenda, turning you into an obedient participant in their machine, all under the guise of education. And it doesn't stop there. As you grow, you're funneled into a system that demands you take on massive debt for higher education. Debts that tie you to their financial system for decades. The school model itself is designed for profit. Governments pour money into schools, but most of it never reaches the classroom. Instead, it's diverted to administrative costs, flashy projects, and systems that benefit everyone except the students. It's no coincidence that this model mirrors the prison system. Both are funded based on the number of students or inmates, and both prioritize control and profit over genuine reform or development. Schools produce obedient workers. Prisons manage those who stray. They're two sides of the same coin, both designed to keep you under their control, profiting from your compliance while convincing you you're free. But it doesn't have to be this way. Recognizing the cage is the first step to reclaiming your life. You must understand how they programmed you, why they did it, and most importantly, how to break free. It won't be easy. It will challenge everything you've been taught to believe, but true freedom demands nothing less. So let's go back to where it all began. The foundation of this programming, your childhood. The system that calls itself education doesn't just teach, it molds. From the first day you step into a classroom, you're shaped to be obedient. You're taught to follow rules, respect authority, and suppress your individuality, all under the banner of learning. Education was never about liberation. It was always about control. The classroom isn't a space for independent thinking. It's a factory for conformity. The system isn't designed to empower you, but to mold you into a predictable, compliant cog in the machine. Why? Because control thrives on predictability. Empowered individuals question the system, disrupt the status quo, and demand accountability. Obedient individuals don't. And that's exactly what the system wants: submission, not independence. Now pause and reflect on the stories you were taught as a child. The curriculum isn't neutral. It's carefully curated to glorify authority and obscure the truth about those who challenged it. History books celebrate conquests as victories while ignoring the bloodshed, pain, and stolen lands behind them. Entire groups of people, rebels, visionaries, leaders who took a different path, are either erased or reduced to faint footnotes. This isn't accidental, it's deliberate. It's designed to make you see the world not as it is, but as they want you to see it. Even subjects like literature, science, and math aren't immune to the system's control. Literature glorifies rule, following heroes, and punishes those who defy authority. Science, which should encourage curiosity and exploration, is reduced to memorizing facts instead of questioning. And math, its beauty and creativity stripped away, is left as formulas and the notion that there's only one correct answer. The goal was never your true knowledge, but the programming of your impressionable young mind. You were taught to memorize answers, not ask questions, to comply, not think independently. In a system built on obedience, independent thinking is seen as a threat. That's why it's quietly and consistently discouraged. Now think about all those standardized tests they made you take. They told you things like, "You need to know this because you won't always have a calculator," or "It's important to learn this because you won't always have GPS." But now we carry calculators and GPS in our pockets 24/7. Ironic, isn't it? Those tests were never about preparing you for the real world. They weren't a measure of intelligence, they were a measure of compliance. They tested how well you could memorize, follow instructions, and stay within the lines. Innovation, creativity, critical thinking, these don't fit a system that runs on conformity. They don't want you to think differently. They want you to fit the mold, follow the script, and never question. The real message behind those tests is clear: comply or fail. Step out of line, and you'll face consequences, social, economic, or both. Challenge the system, and you risk being isolated, punished, or labeled a troublemaker. Those tests don't prepare you for the complexities of real life. They prepare you to fear standing out, to accept mediocrity, and to tie your self-worth to others' approval. Then there's the school bell. It's not just a signal for class changes. It's a lesson in submission. Think about it: you hear the bell, you move. No questions, no choices, just obedience. This is classic conditioned response in its purest form. Remember Pavlov's experiment? He rang a bell, and the dogs began to salivate, expecting food. Over time, they didn't need the food, just the bell. Now look at schools: the bell rings, and you react automatically. Not because you're hungry, but because you've been trained to obey without thinking. The system rewards compliance and punishes defiance, teaching you to follow orders rather than think for yourself. This constant, segmented rhythm, dividing your day into rigid time blocks, isn't designed to prepare you for independence. It's training you for the 9 to 5 grind. Think about it: the bell rings and you move. Lunch is at a fixed time, even if you're not hungry. Breaks are limited, and someone else decides when your work begins and ends. Sound familiar? It's the same structure you'll find in most jobs. This isn't about time management. It's about conditioning you to surrender your autonomy to the clock, to live by someone else's schedule, and to see your time as something to trade rather than a canvas for your dreams. Over time, you stop questioning. You stop asking why your life is carved into rigid schedules and simply accept it as normal. But the truth is, it's not normal. You know it, I know it. We all know it. And the most powerful lessons at school are the ones you don't even realize you're learning. Like obeying authority. You're taught to respect teachers and principals, not because they've earned it, but because they hold power. This normalizes submission to authority in every aspect of life. Or the fear of failure. Mistakes are punished, creating a fear of risk that locks you into predictable, controllable behaviors, or seeking validation. Gold stars and grades condition you to value external approval over your own instincts, making you easier to manipulate. The transition to media and entertainment is seamless. The education system lays the foundation, but the programming doesn't stop there. Media and entertainment take over, embedding lessons of compliance into your desires and dreams. What you consume shapes who you become. Then comes the media, another tool to brainwash you from birth. It's designed to shape your thoughts, desires, and identity without you even realizing it. From the cartoons you loved as a child to the movies and music you consume as an adult, every image, every sound, every story is carefully crafted to keep you distracted, obedient, and addicted to the system. Think about the stories you've watched over and over. Heroes, they don't challenge the system, they fight to protect it. Their mission isn't rebellion, but restoring order. They follow the rules, earn respect through charm and bravery, and sacrifice their own dreams for the so-called greater good. The message is clear. Heroes are good because they're appealing, obedient, and willing to sacrifice. Now look at the villains. Villains are everything the system doesn't want you to be: rebels, outcasts, people who question authority and challenge the status quo. Villains cause trouble, ask hard questions, and threaten the structures you've been taught to respect. And how are they portrayed? Dangerous, evil, or untrustworthy. This isn't accidental, it's deliberate. You're being trained to fear opposition, to see rebellion as frightening and wrong. Because the system doesn't just want your obedience, it wants your loyalty. From the moment you encounter these characters in childhood cartoons, the programming begins. You're taught to see goodness as following rules and evil as breaking them. Heroes become models for your obedience, while villains make you fear questioning the rules that limit your freedom. This isn't just storytelling, it's deliberate psychological conditioning, training you for a lifetime of submission. Take Disney movies as an example. They glorify monarchy and elitism, painting kings, queens, and princesses as naturally good and rightful leaders. This teaches children to see hierarchy as normal, even fair. The idea that some are born to rule while others are born to serve. And think about the stories. The hero is always someone of high status, rescuing struggling commoners, sending a subtle message that your problems can only be solved by someone more powerful. This isn't just entertainment. It's shaping how you view the world. Ironically, cartoons aren't just entertainment. They're advertisements disguised as stories, vibrant ads with catchy melodies that captivate you as a child. Characters come with branded merchandise, dolls, costumes, theme parks. Happiness becomes a transaction tied to the Disney lifestyle. They program you from childhood to believe that happiness means owning the latest action figure or princess doll. For them, it's about creating lifelong habits. Children are taught that their value comes from what they own. Brands become a measure of social status. Owning the right products makes you popular. Lacking them makes you invisible. Fast forward to adulthood, and you're still chasing the same lie, spending money on things that bring fleeting joy but leave you empty. It's a clever system, isn't it? Programming you from childhood to equate self-worth with material possessions. They've trained you to believe that owning more will fill the void, but it never does. And that's exactly how they keep you hooked on the lie. But the media isn't their only programming tool. The system reaches deeper into the food you eat and the environment you live in. Do you remember the excitement of seeing your favorite cartoon characters on a McDonald's menu? That spark of joy with a happy meal, promising not just food, but a toy tied to your favorite animated hero. That wasn't clever marketing. It was the start of lifelong programming. From childhood, happiness was sold to you in a colorful box with your favorite hero's face stamped on it. The toys changed weekly, keeping you coming back, while the menu stayed the same: unhealthy, addictive food designed to hook you early. This isn't just about selling a meal, it's about shaping lifelong consumption habits. McDonald's and similar fast food giants use children's emotional connection to cartoons to embed the idea that consumption equals joy. What seems like a harmless meal and toy combo is actually a psychological weapon, shaping desires and behaviors in ways most of us never realize. The Happy Meal isn't just a box of chicken nuggets and fries. It's a psychological trap designed to create a deep connection between food, reward, and happiness. The ever-changing toys, often tied to popular movies or TV shows, create a sense of urgency and novelty. Collection campaigns plant the idea that missing the next toy means missing out on happiness. But what about the food itself? The meals, packed with fat, sugar, and salt, are engineered to trigger your brain's reward centers. The instant gratification from these flavors makes them addictive, creating cravings long after the toy is forgotten. It's a cycle of emotional attachment, flavor addiction, and constant return to the counter. By the time you're an adult, that connection is locked in. Fast food isn't just convenient, it feels comforting. You've been programmed to turn to it during celebrations, stress, or even boredom, without ever questioning why it feels like the default choice. This programming affects everyone, so don't rush to judge those struggling with their weight. They're trapped by the same system as the rest of us. Culture isn't just the values your parents pass down or the traditions you naturally inherit. From day one, it programs your thoughts, shapes your behavior, and molds your identity. But here's the truth: your culture isn't truly yours. It was crafted by corporations, governments, and elites to manipulate and control society. And you. Look closely at the traditions you follow, the holidays you celebrate, the phrases you repeat. They didn't form naturally, they were designed. Take Christmas, for example. It's no longer about spirituality or family heritage. It's a billion-dollar industry designed to make you equate love and generosity with buying more. That's not culture, it's consumer conditioning. Every custom, every ritual, every so-called norm exists for a purpose: to make you predictable, compliant, and exploitable. Once you see this, once you realize that even your beliefs, identity, and sense of self have been programmed, you can't unsee it. And when the illusion shatters, you'll understand just how deep the control goes. Language isn't just words. It's the software they use to program your reality. Think about the sayings you grew up with, seemingly harmless, even loving phrases like, "Don't talk back," which translates to silence your doubts, submit to authority. Or, "That's just how it is," meaning, don't question the system, accept your powerlessness. Or, "Be a good boy or girl," meaning your value is tied to obedience, not individuality. These aren't just words, they're psychological handcuffs. By the time you're old enough to think critically, these scripts are so ingrained that rebellion feels wrong, even dangerous. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from speaking out, not because you were wrong, but because you were trained to equate silence with virtue? And it doesn't stop there. Corporate buzzwords like team spirit or know your place are just renamed versions of don't talk back. They frame compliance as a virtue while portraying dissent as selfish or disruptive. But what's the fastest way to control a population? Repetitive rituals. The more, the better. The key is to make them seem harmless or, better yet, sacred. Take the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. Every morning, millions of children stand, hand on heart, and recite the same words. Do they understand what they're saying? Of course not. That's the point. The ritual isn't about meaning, it's about muscle memory. By the time they're adults, blind loyalty to the nation-state feels as natural as breathing. Look at Christmas. What's it really about? Generosity? Togetherness? No, it's about consumption. From the moment children can talk, they're taught that happiness comes in wrapped gift boxes. And who brings those gifts? Santa Claus, a benevolent authority figure who rewards compliance and punishes rebellion. Sound familiar? It's the same story that governs society. Obey, and you'll be rewarded. Question, and you'll be excluded. Even weddings, supposedly about love, are rituals of compliance. A perfect wedding demands you follow a script: loans, vows, guest lists. Deviate, and you risk judgment. It's a microcosm of social control: comply or face isolation. Has anyone noticed the cost of weddings lately? Just another way to profit off you. And language doesn't just control how you see the world. It controls how you see yourself. From the moment you enter school, you're bombarded with labels: good grades, success, bad grades, failure, follow rules, good, break them, bad. This isn't about teaching children to think critically, it's about teaching them to tie their self-worth to compliance. By adulthood, this framework is so ingrained that most people can't imagine a world where success isn't dictated by others' standards. But here's the thing. This conditioning isn't random. It benefits the very systems controlling you. Think about it. If your self-worth is tied to external approval, you'll spend your life chasing validation from them. Your boss, corporations, societal norms. That's not freedom, it's slavery, a modern form of enslavement. And here's where it gets chilling. None of this is accidental. The phrases you repeat, the rituals you follow, the holidays you celebrate, they all serve the same master, the same wallet. Corporations thrive on your inability to question consumerism. Governments benefit from your blind loyalty to authority. Social media platforms profit from your need for external validation, using algorithms to amplify compliance and suppress dissent. Even your favorite holidays are monetized control rituals. Every Christmas ad, every Black Friday sale, every patriotic 4th of July commercial, they all carry the same message: don't think, just participate. And the scariest part, it works. Look back at your life. How many times have you followed a script without questioning? How many traditions, phrases, and habits have you accepted as normal? The truth is, the system has shaped you from birth, conditioning you to stay in line, consume without question, and seek validation from the very structures oppressing you. But here's the good news: once you see the cage, you can escape. Start questioning. Why do we celebrate what we celebrate? Why do we say what we say? And most importantly, who benefits when we don't? Cultural conditioning is just the surface. Beneath it lies a deeper layer of psychological control, fear, dependency, and compliance, all programmed. Let's pull back the curtain and explore what's really happening inside your mind. Now think back to the first gold star you earned at school, or the first time someone called you a good boy or girl. That warm feeling of approval wasn't just encouragement, it was conditioning. You were being taught that your value doesn't lie in who you are, but in how well you meet others' expectations. This programming doesn't fade with age, it evolves. As an adult, the stakes get higher: degrees, promotions, luxury cars, picture-perfect relationships. Each societal milestone promises validation, but it's only fleeting. Why? Because the standards keep shifting. There's always a bigger house, a better job, or more followers on social media to chase. Consider the rise of platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn. Their entire ecosystems are built on your need for external validation. Likes, comments, and endorsements are digital gold stars, reinforcing a cycle that keeps you hooked. But the tragedy is, no matter how much you achieve, it never feels enough. Because you've been trained to seek satisfaction from outside rather than within. Failure isn't just a part of life, it's essential for growth. But society doesn't see it that way. From childhood, you've been conditioned to equate failure with shame. Bad grades, punishments, mistakes, all tied to embarrassment. The message is loud and clear: failure isn't a stepping stone, it's a stain. As an adult, this fear becomes a silent prison. How many dreams have you abandoned because you feared failure? How many ideas have you left unsaid, jobs unpursued, or risks unaccepted because of that nagging voice? What if I mess up? And it's not your fault, because this fear wasn't how you were born. It was implanted. That's what keeps people from breaking the system. It ensures you stay on a predictable, controllable path, never daring to step outside the comfort zone and comply. Look, the programming goes deeper than conscious thought. It embeds itself in your subconscious, shaping your fears and anxieties in ways you may not even realize. From the classroom to the workplace, questioning authority triggers an instinctual anxiety. Why? Because it's been tied to punishment since childhood. You've been trained to avoid dissent, even when the system is clearly flawed. The need for validation creates a hyper-awareness of others' opinions. This fear silences authenticity, causing you to mold yourself to fit societal expectations, even when it feels suffocating. Media and culture bombard you with the idea that there's never enough time, money, or resources. This artificial scarcity keeps you in a constant state of competition, stress, and compliance. It ensures you're too busy striving to ever question why. These fears don't just control individuals, they fuel billion-dollar industries. The self-help market thrives on your insecurities, offering temporary relief without addressing the root issues. Pharmaceuticals profit from managing the anxiety and depression this system creates. The system creates the disease and then sells you the cure. All this conditioning culminates in a society where compliance feels safe and authenticity feels dangerous. Most people will spend their lives prioritizing fitting in over standing out, fearing rejection more than stagnation. Think about the workplace. How many times do employees swallow their thoughts, ideas, or genuine criticism to keep the peace? Authenticity is sacrificed on the altar of acceptance. But here's the thing: compliance doesn't just stifle individuals, it stifles progress. A world where everyone fits the mold is a world where innovation, creativity, and revolution quietly die. Step back for a moment. How much of your life has been shaped by these patterns? How many of your decisions, where you work, how you act, what you fear, are truly your own? The truth is, the system has programmed you from birth, ensuring you remain predictable, compliant, and profitable. But here's the part they don't want you to know: the same mind that was programmed can be reprogrammed. These patterns aren't permanent, they're habits, and like any habit, they can be broken. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming your autonomy. Once you see the patterns, you can start dismantling them. You'll learn how to break free from this cycle of control and rebuild your life on your own terms. Because freedom isn't given, it's claimed, and it starts here. But you can't fix what you can't see. Awareness is the foundation of change. Now start by asking yourself the hard questions. Who benefits from the beliefs I hold? Write down your beliefs about success, love, happiness, and failure. Then trace their origins. Did they come from family, school, advertisements? Often, you'll discover that the stories governing your life were never chosen by you. They were implanted. For example, do you really want that high-paying job with long hours? Or were you told it's the only path to success? Does your fear of failure stem from a genuine concern, or was it ingrained by a system that punishes mistakes? Awareness unravels these threads. The system thrives on reactions, unconscious responses to the stimuli, fears, and desires it creates. Mindfulness breaks this cycle. When you observe your thoughts without judgment, you disrupt the programming. You create a pause between stimulus and response, and in that pause lies freedom. Try this when you feel the urge to seek approval. Pause and ask yourself, what am I trying to prove, and to whom? When fear of failure grips you, reframe it. Say, this mistake isn't the end, it's the lesson I need. And remember to control your mental diet. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are designed to hijack your attention and feed you narratives that prioritize compliance over authenticity. Be intentional about the movies, shows, and music you consume. Choose stories that empower you rather than reinforce societal control. Ask yourself, what is this content trying to teach me? And know that every advertisement has a purpose. Train yourself to spot it. Ask, what fear or desire is this ad exploiting? Your awareness of their manipulation renders it powerless. One of the most important pieces of advice is to surround yourself with items that inspire authenticity and creativity. Art, nature, and meaningful objects are tools of resistance against the monotony of compliance. Strive to build genuine relationships. I know it's easier said than done, especially in today's world. But try to seek connections based on growth and authenticity, not superficial validation. Find people who challenge you to be the truest version of yourself. But your awakening is just the beginning. True power lies in collective action. The system thrives on division, distraction, and isolation, ensuring individuals stay silent and fragmented. That we hate and blame each other instead of them. But what happens when the isolated awaken? When individual sparks of awareness unite into a wildfire of collective awakening? That's when the system begins to crumble. It's not about rebellion. It's about transformation. Awareness spreads like wildfire. Once you see the invisible chains, you can't help but notice them everywhere. Share what you've learned. But the key to awakening others isn't shouting from the rooftops or pointing fingers. It's asking questions that spark curiosity. Questions plant seeds. Seeds grow into movements. Each person you inspire to think critically adds to a wave of change. The system isolates you because isolation breeds compliance. But connection builds revolutions. To challenge control, we must unite. Start conversations in your community or online. Create safe spaces for people to share, learn, and question the status quo. Mainstream media often serves the system. Support journalists, podcasters, and creators who dare to speak truth to power. Teach children to question everything. Encourage them to see failure as growth, curiosity as strength, and authenticity as success. When individuals come together, the power of collective thinking is amplified. The system fears critical thinkers supporting each other because, together, they're unstoppable. Now, one of the most important things you can do is hit them where it hurts most. See, The system thrives on your consumption, but by redefining what you value and where you spend your resources, you can erode its foundation. Invest in small businesses instead of corporations that profit from exploitation. Reject consumerism. Shift your focus from wealth to experiences, relationships, and self-expression. Happiness can't be bought, it's built. Repeat after me. Happiness can only be built from within. Every dollar you spend or withhold is a vote for the world you want to create. Stories are the system's most powerful weapon. They shape how you perceive the world, who you trust, and what you believe is possible. To dismantle the system, we must rewrite the stories. Write, film, and share stories that inspire autonomy, critical thinking, and collective action. Stories have viral power. They can shift cultural consciousness faster than laws. When enough people reject the system's myths, its grip on reality weakens. The system thrives on fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of standing out. But here's the truth. Courage spreads faster than fear. Every act of defiance, no matter how small, sends ripples through the collective. Speak your truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Live authentically, even if it's unpopular. Question authority, even if it feels risky. Your courage inspires others to find their own. And when enough people step forward, fear loses its power. Imagine if millions refused the stories that bind them, consumed consciously, built communities of resistance, and demanded change. The system's foundation wouldn't just shake, it would collapse. But collective awakening is just the beginning. To truly break control, we need to rebuild from the ground up. The time is now. The system depends on your silence and compliance. But when individuals awaken and unite, they become architects of a new reality. This is your moment. Speak up, act, inspire. The world won't change itself, but together we can make it happen. The systems controlling us aren't accidents. They're meticulously designed to concentrate power, prioritize profit, and suppress autonomy. Escaping them requires more than awareness or resistance. To truly dismantle these systems, we must replace them with frameworks built on fairness, empowerment, and true freedom. The question isn't whether we can do it. The question is whether we're ready to take that leap. No. The enemy, capitalism, often fueled by greed, keeps much of the population trapped in cycles of debt and survival while elites hoard wealth. Media and education sustain compliance, drowning dissent in a flood of manipulated narratives. These pillars reinforce each other, creating a system designed to keep you distracted, divided, and dependent. True transformation means dismantling them all at once. Empowering the mind. Education is the foundation of change. Right now, it's a tool for indoctrination, designed to produce obedient workers rather than critical thinkers. Imagine an education system that liberates rather than oppresses, reclaiming control. When power is returned to the people, the system loses its grip, valuing people over profit. The current economic model thrives on scarcity and exploitation. A transformed economy would prioritize well-being, fairness, and cooperation. Economic freedom isn't about wealth, it's about liberation from fear. The media's current role as a propaganda machine must be dismantled. It can become a tool for truth rather than manipulation. Control the narrative, and you control reality. Change the narrative, and you change the world. Systemic change begins with individuals. You have more power than the system wants you to believe. Say no to systems that don't align with your values. Vote with your choices, time, and money. The system doesn't just control the world around you. It infiltrates your mind, shaping your thoughts, fears, and desires. From childhood, you've been conditioned to seek approval, fear failure, and prioritize fitting in over living authentically. Recognizing this programming is powerful, but recognition alone won't reverse it. These patterns operate in your subconscious, influencing every decision you make. The subconscious is the system's playground. It operates silently, controlling your thoughts and actions without you realizing it. To reclaim it, you must rewrite the script, replacing disempowering beliefs with liberating ones. For example, turns "I need to fit in to succeed" into "my uniqueness is my strength." Visualize a life where you live authentically, unbound by others' approval. The system is designed to hijack your emotions. Fear, guilt, and anger are its primary control tools. Resilience isn't about ignoring these emotions, but mastering them. When the system triggers fear or guilt, recognize its nature a manipulation. Refocus on what truly matters to you. The system also profits from your self-doubt. Counter it by embracing your imperfections and valuing progress over perfection. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on abundance, breaking the system's narrative of scarcity and lack. The system sold you a definition of success: wealth, status, possessions. But whose definition is it? Reclaim your autonomy by redefining success and happiness on your own terms. Are you living in alignment with your values and passions, or chasing external validation? Do your choices bring joy and purpose, or are they designed to impress others? Shift from external standards to internal fulfillment. Find joy in simplicity, nurture relationships that uplift you, and pursue passions that truly resonate with you. Empowerment isn't just about inner work. It's about bold action in a world designed to keep you in line. Limit exposure to manipulative media, toxic environments, and voices that don't serve your growth. Seek communities that celebrate authenticity and encourage critical thinking. Align every decision, what you buy, who you support, how you spend your time, with your values and vision. Each small choice adds to your power. Once you've reclaimed your mind and cultivated inner strength, the next step is to live with purpose. Your freedom is your power. The system may have shaped you, but it doesn't own you. Every thought you rewrite, every fear you overcome, every authentic choice you make erodes its control. This is where the revolution begins, not out there, but within. And purpose isn't something society hands you. It's something you discover within yourself. Yet, from the moment you could walk and talk, the system programmed you to chase others' ideas of purpose, job titles, financial milestones, societal approval. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. Purpose isn't found in what you achieve. It's found in living authentically. Breaking free means rejecting the narratives imposed on you and aligning your life with what truly matters to you. Dispel the illusion of should is the system's favorite weapon. It whispers in your ear, telling you should go to college to succeed. You should settle down by 30. You should follow the script everyone else is following. But here's the thing, those shoulds aren't universal truths. They're constructs designed to keep you predictable, manageable, and compliant. To reclaim your purpose, start by questioning every should you encounter. What do I truly want, apart from others' expectations? What ignites my passion, even if it doesn't fit society's definition of success? Am I living a life I chose, or one chosen for me? When you dispel the illusion of should, you clear the path to discovering what truly fulfills you. Years of conditioning can bury your authentic self, but it's still there, waiting to be uncovered. Reconnecting with it requires peeling back the layers of programming. Intuition is often drowned out by societal noise. Pay attention to what feels right, not what looks right to others. Engage in new activities, revisit forgotten hobbies, and embrace failure as part of the journey. Authenticity isn't static. It evolves through exploration. Uncovering your true self is just the beginning. The next step is aligning your daily life with your core values and passions. This doesn't mean abandoning responsibilities. It's about living intentionally. Minimalism isn't just about owning less, it's about focusing on what matters most. Let go of commitments and possessions that don't serve your purpose. Living intentionally transforms your life from a reactive existence into a conscious expression of your values. And living authentically doesn't just change your life, it inspires others and contributes to collective liberation. When you live true to your purpose, you radiate a kind of freedom that's undeniable. Show others that living authentically isn't just possible, it's fulfilling. Use your time and resources to support causes aligned with your values, from sustainability to social justice. Create ripple effects. Even small actions, like sharing a powerful idea or supporting a local creator, can spark change far beyond what you see. Authenticity is contagious. The more you embrace it, the more you empower others to do the same. Living authentically doesn't mean living without fear or failure. You'll face doubts, setbacks, and moments when societal programming tries to pull you back. But remember, authenticity isn't about perfection. It's about truth. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your resolve and deepens your connection to your true self. Redefining your purpose is a personal revolution, but it's just the beginning. Imagine the world we could create if millions started living authentically. Your life, your purpose. The system wants you to think purpose is out there, something to chase or buy. But it's been inside you all along, waiting for you to claim it. Live authentically. The world is waiting for the real you. Let failures make you stronger. Your perseverance encourages others to overcome their fears. Every choice you make contributes to a collective shift. Imagine a world where critical thinking is celebrated, well-being is prioritized, and authenticity thrives. This is the legacy of awakening, a world built on freedom and creativity. Awakening doesn't end with you. Your courage has the power to inspire others, creating ripple effects that can challenge and transform the systems of control. The system thrives on silence, but your voice and actions can ignite a revolution. The choice is yours. Will you stay silent, or will you step into freedom? If this message resonates with you, leave a comment, break the chains. Show the system that silence is no longer an option,